The Borealis is the PlayStation-exclusive exotic sniper rifle available from Engram Decryptions. The main perk, the Fundamentals, will allow you to change the weapon's elemental damage type by holding down the reload button. The second perk, Ionic Return, will cause one bullet to be transferred from your reserves to the magazine when you break an enemy's elemental shield. First thing I noticed was the massive impact stat on this gun. Seriously, it's almost maxed out. Most of the snipers I've used thus far have a very low impact stat, so it's really nice to finally have a gun that hits for some good damage. The recoil may look severe, but it's actually pretty standard if you're used to sniping in Destiny. It goes almost completely vertical, so compensating for that to rapidly land precision damage on something shouldn't be that hard once you play around with the gun for a bit. There is one thing I want to note about the weapon's recoil though. I don't know if it's due to the corkscrew barrel perk or a bug, but there are two different recoil patterns you have to get used to. The first one, when standing completely still and pulling the trigger, is just a standard kick. But if you have any movement on your left thumbstick, you will meet with this really weird twirl when the scope is settling after a shot. I thought it was scope sway or maybe flinch until I examined it a little bit closer. Whatever the case may be, it's just something that I ended up getting used to after a strike or two of using the gun. Now, the Fundamentals perk is both an extremely well-rounded perk that can make itself useful in just about every single scenario, and also a complete pain to deal with at the exact same time. The system for changing elemental type is just cumbersome. Not as cumbersome as going into your menu and swapping it like hard light or changing the elemental mod on it, but still the perk can mess around with you really hard. For instance, if you hold down the reload button just a little bit too long, it will trigger the elemental switch. If you're in a situation where you're using the weapon for a specific elemental type, then that means you have to cycle back through the other elements. If you respawn or reload to a new zone, the element will reset back to void. It's not a huge problem, but you have to always be aware of it, especially if you're trying to explode some enemy shields and make use of that secondary perk. In PvP, it will trigger while you're picking up the power ammo, since you have to hold down reload to do that. While that isn't really bad, if you're in a situation where you have to immediately shoot your gun, then you're at the mercy of that animation. A simple solution to this is to just have your kinetic or energy weapon out while you pick your power ammo up. But again, you have to swap to your gun while other people can just pick up power ammo and they can immediately use their weapons. I know it sounds like I'm making a mountain out of a molehill here, but it's something you should just absolutely be aware of since it has messed me up quite a few times. Now, how the weapon actually performs in PvE? Well, it's a high-impact sniper rifle that can trigger shield explosion on literally every single shielded enemy if you use the main perk. That's incredibly powerful, especially in activities with the Prism modifier, like the Nightfall. Whatever damage you might currently need, just cycle through the elements and you're good. You don't have to go into your inventory and swap out weapons. This does lead to some pretty heavy use of the weapon, which means you will go through power ammo like crazy. As far as I'm aware, ammo synths do not exist in the game, so you have to time using this weapon for when you know you will be able to refill it. If you see a shielded major, get the proper element on to pop the shield, and then drop them with a few precision shots. The high impact stat makes the gun finish off most majors in about 3 to 4 precision hits. Normal enemies will take about 1 to 2 depending on precision shots. The second perk does help out, although most shields will take 2 shots to fully destroy, so I suggest you doing a little bit of damage to the shield before shooting it with Borealis to get that round refunded. Or you can just not care, since most enemies will have a little bit of damage on them anyway, and only 1 round gets put back into the magazine from using the perk. Now, in PvP, I absolutely adore this weapon. Between the high impact, decent aim assist, and extremely clear reticle, I easily just fell right into step with the gun and started landing headshot after headshot. You get 6 rounds, which can easily lead to you almost single-handedly sweeping an enemy team in the survival competitive game mode. If you land your shots, that is. The high damage also makes this a great gun to do just the old body shot and then swap to your primary to kill tactic. It's hard to accurately describe how good Borealis is in PvP. If you're already a competent sniper, you're probably going to be able to immediately pick this thing up and start using it. It does everything you want a sniper to do, but the most important feature to me is the scope. There isn't really anything getting in the way of you and your target like the Darcy sniper rifle. Borealis still has a HUD in the scope, but it's completely unobtrusive, as a sniper should be. Also, as a side note, I suppose this weapon works around the locked loadout mechanic for some of the activities. I wish it was available for Xbox and PC players, since this gun really is a fantastic addition to literally any loadout. Good damage output when needed, and added utility of taking care of every single shielded enemy. So if you're needing a multi-elemental type weapon for your loadout, and you're on PS4, then get to grinding. This is an absolute must-have for every single Guardian. For everyone else, best of luck getting this in a year. I hope you found this video informative. If you did, a positive rating would be appreciated. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.